I was in the 95th Infantry Division, 1943 to 1946. Went in January, come out in January. We got on the train, didn't know where we was going. The rumors were flying, you know. I just about as dumb as anybody on that train, didn't know where I was going or nothing. I had two brothers over there, but I never did get to see one of them. And when we was ready to go overseas, we went every direction. That's when we was on our way into combat. Three of us went on patrol right through the woods, and we run into their lines, and man, bullets started flying. I was laying down just as low as I could get in the snow and leaves when I got hit. Bennett Lancaster, and I'm 95. My daddy was a sharecropper, never owned a piece of land in his life. Worked his bottom off and got half he made. My daddy had 7 boys and 8 mules. My mama lived to be 100, raised 8 children, done more work than every one of them, I believe, on that farm. Before my time, I was the baby. My daddy made a little whiskey and he got caught. They run him all over them mountains. He pulled a year and a day in the penitentiary. 5 of us come up here from Tennessee and worked for DuPont. My oldest brother come up here in 1927. I come up here in 1942. DuPont wouldn't hire me because I was a teenager. He said, well, we figured they'll all be in the Army within a year. And they were right. 11 months I was in. We took full training in barge balloons. And when we was ready to go overseas, they busted up. I went to Fort Bragg in the infantry. Took basic training again, then went overseas. The old sergeant come around about dark. Said, get ready. You gotta go on patrol tonight. I said, Sarge, I can't go. He said, what the hell you mean you can't go? I said, I ain't never been. I didn't want to go. And I went that night. 3 of us went on patrol right through the woods near the Rhine River. And we run into their lines. It sounded like it was about 12 of them. That was about 8 o'clock at night, roughly. And I got hit. I didn't know when I got hit. Sergeant said, we better get out of here. Said, let's get out of here. And I'd jump up and fall, jump up and fall. I didn't know I'd been hit. And I had them 3 bullets in my hip. And he said, what's wrong with you? I said, I don't know. I believe I got a cramp in my leg. He said, it's a hell of a time for a cramp. We better get out of here. And they went off and left me in there. And I crawled on the best I could. About 4 or 4:30 next morning, I run into our lines. Put me on a stretcher and strapped me on top of that Jeep. And carried me out through the woods on top of that Jeep, snowing hitting me in the face. 2 of them went all the way through, and they operated and took one of them out against my kneecap. I never did go back to combat. I told them I want to go back to the same outfit. They said, no, you don't want to go back up there. You won't know nobody. But it may have saved my life. 2 or 3 days later, they shoved off going to take Metz, France. And it said in the paper I read in the hospital that Metz, France had never been taken by force. And we took it. My oldest son said, you come back and went to work. Said you shouldn't have went to work. And he is right. Oh, Lord, you had plenty of girls, 3 or 4 of them, 3, I believe. And they let them work in the kitchen. They'd serve us, kind of like cafeteria style, you know. And every time I go through there, she'd put a little extra on my plate. I kept noticing that. Shortly after I got married, I come home one day and my wife was standing in the front door with 2 pictures, one in each hand. And one of them was her and one of them was a little baby with a diaper on. Yeah, he calls me every once in a while, and I call him. I carried him to Tennessee one time. He met my mom and daddy. They thought a lot of him. He's 70-some years old now. I do pretty good. I save a little money, get what I want. I ain't got no brick home yet, but I built this home in my spare time. It had a wooden handle in it with a little bomb on the end of it. It was a concussion grenade, because they'd throw them, and they used them at night a lot. And one of them hit me right in the side, knocked me down, bounced off and went off. And I had a sore throat in the hospital, and I told the doctor, I said, "Doctor, my throat is so sore I can't swallow." He looked at it, and I told him about that concussion grenade. He said, "It jarred your tonsils loose." He said, "They got to come out." And they took me on the stretcher, took my tonsils out. I drove all over Germany nearby. Oh yeah, we went to Hitler's home. He was way out in the country, a mountain. And you go up a road to about halfway up a mountain, and there was a little parking lot there. And I drove him up there, and there was a door there in the mountain. And you get on a little buggy like a trolley car, run on 2 little tracks, kind of small, and you went right straight back in that mountain to about the center of it, best I know. And you got on the elevator and you go right up in the front room through that mountain on the elevator. They wouldn't let me go up there, but he went up there. I didn't drive for him too long. I didn't like it. He said, "You don't like driving for the colonel?" I said, "Not too good, but I don't want him to know it."